Bro, while all this is happening, if Trump dies this weekend and then motherfucking JD Vance becomes president and the Peter Thiel dictatorship is imminent, I will lose my goddamn mind. Here's Laura Rosen. Trump has no public events scheduled all weekend. Don't believe he was seen today either. JD Vance says he's ready to take over as president if, God forbid, there's a terrible tragedy with Trump. I jokingly talked about this yesterday, or I tweeted about this yesterday as a joke. I said, well, he did kill the Pope after all. And, you know, turns out, who knows? Are you taking the weekend off? I am going to Michigan over the weekend. Because, like, on the one hand, you're like, oh, sweet. It'll be so sweet. It'll be so glorious. On the other hand, the alternative is JD fucking Vance, which means that the freak Peter Thiel has succeeded in the hostile takeover of the entire American government. Oh my God. Holy moly. JD Vance is a wet blanket, zero charisma. It don't matter, brother. It don't matter. That only matters during the election cycle. That don't matter if there is a if there's a takeover, like a constitutionally approved second in command takeover of the administration. Yeah, he's a wet blanket. He most likely can't drum up support from the same Trump forces when he's running for president, but maybe he doesn't have to run for president. That's the worst outcome. Because like JD Vance is one of the only people in the admin that knows how stupid Trump is. Like, he's smart enough to recognize how dumb Trump is, but he's just such a massive brown noser that he wants power more than anything else. And he is Peter Thiel's blood boy, straight up. Fucking hell.
Yesterday.
Is this quiet quitting? Donald Trump has not golfed in 13 days. Today would be 14 days. The longest absence since taking office in January. He is dying. So there is some real speculation that's flying around. Have you guys seen Trump's hand? It's pretty crazy, man. He golfed today when he went to the Ryder Cup. Okay, so it's a long time frame that he didn't actually golf for, and I do find it very odd. I do find it very strange, because like he loves golfing and you can't stop him from golfing. So like, is his human battery running out? And the reason why I ask this question is because I don't think his hand is busted from shaking hands. Because when this stuff first came out, okay, when these photos first came out a couple months ago, and then paired up with his cankles, people were like, "Oh, he's got some real issues. What's going on?" And then the White House's response was basically, "Oh, the president shakes a lot of hands, and that's the reason why his hand is like messed up." I think this is like an IV. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nurse. I don't know anything. But I feel like this is most consistent with like an IV drip bruise, right? I feel like the only time I've had bruising on my hand like that the president might want to cover up with makeup, even though it's like the application I've ever seen, which is shocking, would be if you were consistently getting IVs. And that creates some kind of bruising. You sure he's not trying to have bigger hands and it's a failed surgery? That's pretty funny. Didn't the White House say it was some condition when it was benign? Yeah, the White House said that it was like he's old as and has thin skin. They're just hiding bruises, cuts, etc. It's common and just vanity. But yeah, it could be from. Okay, we do have a medical specialist in the chat, and he's saying he's old as and has thin skin. They're just hiding bruises and cuts, etc. But it's like in the same. Andrew, isn't it weird that it's the same place? Like, do you think it could be actually from like extreme handshaking? Not if it's IVs like you said. I'm just speculating. Because like it's around the same place. So because it's so consistent, it almost feels like the reason why I thought it was potentially an IV drip is because it's so consistent. I glanced at a bunch of new articles about the recurring bruise on the back of Trump's right hand, which people have noticed since 2024, and they are oddly clustered around the 24th of the month. That suggests he's getting an infusion every month. That could be the case. Like, that's what it feels like to me. It's not just the hand, and it isn't just recently. There's evidence of Trump receiving possible infusions since at least 2016 when he visited the Oval Office after the election that maybe add psoriasis, which would help explain his often splotchy appearance. What? No, that's... Okay, this is too much. It's an IV to clear fluid buildup from congestive heart failure symptoms are the same as what they say is more benign. They would swab the other hand if the veins were exploding after having cancer and being hooked up for months of my life. They would swap vein sites. Well, not if it's just like once a month, right? Because this only happens like once a month, seemingly. I mean, he is just old. That is the truth, right? I mean, that's just what it is. He's old. That is one thing you can't avoid, right? Aging. And maybe that's what's up. That's what's going on here. His big ass ankles are also common for his age due to chronic edema, usually due to congestive heart failure, which isn't like an instant death sentence and is treated with drugs. But look at him, man. Of course he has CHF. Yeah, he is not exactly a beacon of health. I don't think that's a controversial statement, right? We can agree that big boy has been looking like for quite a while. So, I mean, this is funny to me as a Turkish man, okay? As a Turkish American man, this is funny to me. Russians know what this feeling is like. Turks know what this feeling is like when you just like sit around and expect divine intervention, okay? It's not I'm just saying you will wait a very long time. Evil never dies. At least in my experience. This is usually very common in places, in countries where you got like a deeply unpopular autocratic leader that's just like everything up. I'm convinced the more I want Putin to die, the healthier it becomes. Yeah, it is kind of like that, actually. Yeah, Bolsonaro is another great example of this. Like that man is living in Final Destination. He is in the hospital for longer periods of time than he is out in the real world. It doesn't make any sense. Germs fear him. They look at him and they go, nah, dude, this is too much. Same with fucking Mitch McConnell. Dick Cheney, another great example. Dick Cheney's had like 11 hearts at this point, bro. And you just sit around and you're like, come on, man, give me something good. And every single time I've noticed when people understandably feel this way about a particular evil monster, they get more powerful. They get more powerful. It's coming from a place of powerlessness, but ultimately it's just, you know, it is what it is. Have you considered maybe being in the hospital feels good as and you get juice and graham crackers and ice cream? Yeah, that's probably what it is. Didn't the guy who Dick Cheney shot in the face end up giving him an organ or something? I know the guy Dick Cheney shot in the face apologized to Dick Cheney for having his face be in the direction of buckshot. That did happen. That was a crazy moment. Yeah, that's real. That's a real thing. Dick Cheney straight up shot a dude in the face, and then the dude apologized. It was birdshot, sorry. The dude apologized. He said, "I'm sorry that I put my face in the line of fire, sir." Whew. That's the type of shit that the OGs were on. Yep, here it is. Look.
My family and I are deeply sorry for all that Vice President Cheney and his family have had to go through this past week.
He shot you in the fucking head, man. He shot you in the face. The fuck do you mean you are sorry for putting himself and his family through a tragedy? The real tragedy is you got shot in the face and then apologized for having your face in the line of fire.
We send our love and respect to them.
Like, look, half of his face is all bruised and busted
as they deal with situations that are much more serious than what we've had this week.
Chuck Grassley news. Senator Chuck Grassley, first elected in 1980, won't rule out seeking a 9th Senate term. Bleeding Heartland reports. Chuck Grassley is what, 91 or something? He's the oldest. He is the crypt keeper. I support this. Okay. I support this because he's like, you know, it shouldn't just be the Democrats that die in office. Democrats are going to find someone older to run against them. Yeah. Democrats are going to look at this and be like, we need to go older, obviously.